What if Amulet Titan was a Storm deck? Today we're playing a land-based combo deck with Song of Creation and Escape to the Wilds. Let's go check it out. In front of you is Amulet Storm, and I'm thrilled to be playing it for you today. It asks the question, what if Amulet Titan was a Storm deck? And I've actually uploaded this deck about a handful of times, about a year ago, and community member Ari really enjoyed that deck, and Ari submitted today's donation deck asking me to update it, so that's exactly what we're doing. And well, I think we should talk about how the deck functions before we get into the changes. So the idea is that you would like to search out 2 copies of Amulet of Vigor, well, or 1 and then copy it. So Amulet of Vigor is a 1-mana artifact that says whenever a permanent enters tapped, untap it. Okay, so you can find this off of Urza's Saga, which is really nice. And then you can use the Mycosynth Gardens to copy the Amulet of Vigor. From there, you would like to play something like a Simic Growth Chamber, a land that taps for 2 mana and then bounces itself. Okay, these are often referred to as Karoo lands based on the original cycle way back when. And the idea in this deck is that you would like to play things like Explore, Planar Genesis, Growth Spiral, or even Joint Exploration to play multiple lands in a turn and then draw a card. So that way, when you play your Simic Growth Chamber or Gruul Turf or Izzet Boilerworks, you're essentially playing a Desperate Ritual that draws cards. So that's really interesting because you get to abuse lands as rituals, and then your rituals keep your engine going. So it provides a unique aspect to this strategy. Okay, well, we like that. So what has changed? Well, we're no longer playing Wish. In the end of my most recent video, I was talking about how Wish was really clunky and I never loved it. So instead, we're playing a main deck copy of Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Jace is a 4-mana planeswalker that says if you would draw a card and you have no library, you win the game. Okay, so why would I play this instead of Thassa's Oracle or Grape Shot or whatever? There's a lot of consigned memories in Modern right now, and I think Jace Wielder of Mysteries is just the cleanest answer this deck has because it's really easy to draw your entire library using Song of Creation or Escape to the Wilds or whatever. So Jace makes a lot of sense to me here. You could even pick it up using Balged Recovery if it was counterspelled or discarded. Speaking of those effects, we are playing a main deck Vexing Bauble to help versus Force of Negation and other free counterspells in the format, but we also have the Shifting Woodland that can copy the Jace Wielder of Mysteries if you've already used both of your copies of Balged Recovery. So there's a lot of ways to get this Jace Wielder of Mysteries back. Okay, one thing we are doing today is we're playing 4 copies of Expedition Map. A lot of people in the comment sections of the previous video were like, you should be playing Map, you should be playing Map. And I was hesitant because I don't like the idea of drawing a card that's a blank in the middle of your combo turn, but I think it's so crucial to find your utility lands that we just added in, like Shifting Woodland, Mysterized Village, which also helps against counter spells, or, classics like Beseju or Otawara Soaring City. So these utility lands, I think, make playing Expedition Map worth it. And you could also find Map off of Urza's Saga if you want to keep on chaining construct tokens together. So that's another thing you can do. So those cover the changes in the main deck. Because we're not playing Wish, you get to run a full sideboard that contains Pact of Negation, Into the Floodmaw, Veil of Summer, and then 3 Urza Saga targets with Haywire Might, Pithing Needle once again for Goblin Charbelcher combo, and then Pirate Spellbomb for the Orcish Bowmaster decks of the format. That's the deck tech. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe. Really, support the channel. It would mean a lot to me. And thank you to community member Ari for today's donation deck. I will see you all in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Round number 1, we're on the draw. We've opened up quite the hand. We will keep. You're 1 Amulet of Vigor away from greatness, and we could use the Expedition Map to go search out the Mycosynth Gardens to copy Amulet of Vigor. Our opponent plays an Arid Mesa. We will play Shifting Woodland, pass the turn. Shadowy Backstreet. Okay, so this is probably the Orzhov Sewers deck. This is one of the few decks in the format, and I did a lot of research when I was building this deck list today, that runs main deck Orcish Bowmasters, which is a problem for us. And they have Thoughtseize, so I am punished for not having an untapped land for this Amulet of Vigor. That's okay, though. We'll make it work. Our main deck really struggles to beat Orcish Bowmasters, which might sound odd to you, but when you look at the modern metagame, this deck that we're facing here in the first match is really the only deck that plays it that's popular, and they only play it as a 2-of. So we have an Otawara Soaring City in the main deck, that's our answer, and then that's pretty much it. Our sideboard has the Pyrite Spellbomb, but we need to make what we have work. And I could have played a main deck answer over the Vexing Bauble, but there's way more free counter spells in Modern than there are Orcish Bowmasters. They make the choice of Amulet of Vigor, and they pass. We'll play the map, and I think I'm going to play the Simic Growth Chamber, which is unfortunate because I will need one later to win, but I need the mana off for the map. They play land number 3, Recruiter of the Guard, sure. Witch Enchanter, okay. So that could destroy an Urza Saga if I go grab it. I'll just play the Shifting Woodland and pass. Emperor of Bones, okay. They exile my Amulet of Vigor, not very kind. And now they swing. I'm at 19. End step, join exploration. They could flash in an Orcish Bowmasters here. And they do. They have the 2-of in their hand. So very good start for the opponent. The Quick Thought Season of Bowmasters. We find Gardens. I mean, that's not terrible. I think we keep that. We'll take 1. Manamorphose. Not a good draw. They still have Witch Enchanter in their hand. I just don't think we're going to be able to win this one. I'm going to concede. I know that you might be saying, but Brian, it's premature. We are too far behind. I'd rather just go to the next one. We'll bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb, cut the Vexing Bauble, and then I think I'd like Veil of Summer because it beats Bowmasters, but it also beats Thoughtseize. The question is, what are we cutting for it? Because you don't want to dilute your deck too much. And I think here you can probably shave a couple copies of Manamorphose, and then maybe 1 copy of Song of Creation and a Joint Exploration. Let's try submitting this. On the play for game number 2. Yeah, this hand's very good. Keep. This could be a turn 3. Our opponent caps 7. We'll play Urza Saga and Amulet of Vigor. Pass the turn. They have an Arid Mesa for Godless Shrine and Aether Vial. Sure. We draw another map. Don't need that many maps. We'll play Bala Ged Recovery. It will untap due to the amulet. We'll play map and play map. Pass the turn. Aether Vial goes to 1 counter. They play a Shadowy Backstreet. Gets rid of an Aether Vial. Now Spellbomb. I don't care about that. Alright, so we do have an opportunity to win here. We'll float mana. And Explorer was a decent draw. We'll grab the other copy of Amulet of Vigor. So now we've assembled both copies. We'll use the Expedition map. And we'll go grab the Simic Growth Chamber. We'll play the Growth Chamber. Put the bounce trigger on the bottom. And now we'll untap twice. And you cannot auto-yield. I played this in practice mode. And I tried auto-yielding to the bounce. But then you don't have an opportunity to tap the Growth Chamber before that bounce. So you should not auto-yield. And now we'll play another Explorer. Play the Simic Growth Chamber. Hitting Growth Spiral is good. So now we'll untap. Untap. So we're short a red mana right now. But I could always search it out with the Expedition map. So we'll play Explore. Play the map. And now I can go search. Oh, I didn't need to play map. I already had one to play. I'm an idiot. Whoops. Yeah, I just wasted a mana. It's okay, though. We will grab Gruul Turf, play the Gruul Turf, and now we get a couple triggers. Tap and tap. So now I bounce it. I can now play Song of Creation. We'll float the red mana. Play the Simic Growth Chamber. Okay, so I believe we've won this game. I just have to draw my entire deck at this point. So now we'll pick it, tap, tap, and then pick it up. That leaves us with 5 mana. We can play Escape to the Wilds. Draw 2 and then exile the top 5, and we can play those cards and an additional land. So we'll play the Simic Growth Chamber. Sweet. And now we'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. And as you can see, like, now that we've gotten going, it's pretty easy to draw your deck with Song of Creation plus all of these cantripping rituals. We'll put the Growth Chamber back in play. And if you can find a third amulet, you start snowballing mana very quickly. Up to 6 mana now. We'll play the Joint Exploration with Kicker. Auto-yield to that draw. Bottom the song, keep the amulet. And Simic Growth Chamber again. 7 mana. We'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber, play Amulet of Vigor. 31 cards left in deck. Let's play a Manamorphose. We'll make red, green. The 4th amulet. Okay. So not every land drop makes plus 6 mana. Assuming that you spend 2. We'll play a Growth Spiral. Trigger the song. Simic Growth Chamber. And this is what I mean by plus 6, because it's going to make 8 mana, but it costs 2 to cast. Alright, so now we have 11 mana in our mana pool. Pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. Have I drawn the Jace yet? I have not. So let's play Escape to the Wilds. So now we'll exile the top 5. Play the Simic Growth Chamber. 16 cards left in deck. And now we'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. Have I drawn the Jace yet? Nope. Alright, so we'll play Manamorphose. We'll make red, red. Why not? We'll play Planar Genesis. I'll select the Jace Wielder of Mysteries. 10 cards left. We'll play Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Alright, 8 cards left. And the opponent concedes. Alright, so they just wanted to see the win condition. Now we're off to game number 3. I wonder if I should have the Haywire Might in my deck in case they have like a Deafening Silence. It was a thought that I had in the middle there. I'm just worried about diluting my deck too much. Maybe cut a Joint Exploration? We'll try this. Well, we have triple Amulet. I like that. We already have a Karoo land. So this could be, in theory, a turn 2 win. I mean, I'd need a good draw step or 2, but this hand's capable of a turn 2. They have Shadowy Backstreet. Gets rid of Emperor Bones. Yep, that Planar Genesis could do it. Are we going to get a turn 2 win? I hope so. No play from the opponent. Izzet Boiler Works. We'll play Amulet of Vigor. We'll play Gruul Turf. Okay, so now we untap, pick up the Gruul Turf. Or, honestly, I could pick up the Boseiju because I have the Boiler Works in hand already. Yeah, let's do that. We'll play Amulet of Vigor. And now we'll Manamorphose. Bowmasters, sure. And I think maybe I was supposed to use the red mana to cast and keep a green floating, because the Boiler Works in hand makes Izzet color. So we'll do blue-green. Mycosynth Gardens. Okay. Take 1 off the Bowmasters. We'll play Planar Genesis. I'll say no. And then I think we want Planar Genesis here. Pass the turn. So they'll attack for 3. I'll fall to 15. We can still very much win this game. Like, if we find Escape to the Wilds, it would probably be pretty easy. The thing where I'm at right now, and I didn't take the Song of Creation just because I don't have a way to trigger it. But maybe I should have. Maybe I should have taken the Song of Creation. But we just need a way to get up on cards. Recruiter of the Guard. They find another copy of Orcish Bowmasters. And we drew the Escape. Let's go. Alright, so Izzet Boiler Works. We're going to make a bunch of mana here. And I think I'll pick up the Gruul Turf, because then I can make more green mana. Escape to the Wilds. I'm going to float all blue. We hit Simic Growth Chamber. What to do. I guess we'll play the Simic Growth Chamber. Alright, so mana's probably not going to be a bottleneck here. We'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber because we already have a red land in our hand. And then we will kick a Joint Exploration. Bottom the Simic Growth Chamber. We'll keep the Planar Genesis. And I think I want to put Simic Growth Chamber back on the battlefield. We'll auto-yield to the Bowmaster triggers. Those don't really matter. I can draw a lot of cards before that starts to matter. Which is partially why I don't play the main deck answer. It's just I conceded game 1 because we were too far behind. And now I'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. We'll play Growth Spiral. We'll put in the Gruul Turf this time because I do need some amount of red mana. And now we untap, untap, and now we bounce. So we're really relying on Planar Genesis right now because I keep on drawing lands. So let's play Planar Genesis, Jace Wielder of Mysteries, or Veil of Summer. I think it's the Veil of Summer because that allows me to ignore the Bowmasters. I mean, Jace does allow me to keep digging in case this Planar Genesis fails. but it's only one blind draw, so I think I'd rather have the Veil of Summer. And now we'll play the Planar Genesis. Brutal. I guess I can Balagad Recovery and get back Escape to the Wilds. Alright, so we'll take the Balagad Recovery, get back Escape to the Wilds, and now we'll play Escape to the Wilds. And I had another Escape to the Wilds. We'll play Simic Growth Chamber, pick up the Simic Growth Chamber, and I think we're supposed to cast another Escape to the Wilds here. We hit another Escape. This should be pretty easy. I'm wondering if we can do this without Song of Creation. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, we don't need to. I'm just wondering if it's possible. We'll play another copy of Escape to the Wilds. Play the Gruul Turf. 24 cards left in deck. Pick up the Gruul Turf. So I know that the bottom of the deck has a Jace and a Song of Creation, so I'm going to shuffle here. We have 9 mana floating. I'll grab Mycosynth Gardens, I guess. We'll play Veil of Summer. It just feels kind of free at this point. And now we'll explore. Play Gruul Turf again. 22 cards left. So I just need a win in the next 10 minutes, which should be pretty doable. Pick up the Gruul Turf. Let's explore. We draw Joint Exploration. Play another Gruul Turf. Mana is certainly not the bottleneck. I should probably start putting in a land that isn't Gruul Turf, just because we have a lot of red mana right now. I will kick a Joint Exploration. There's a Song. We'll take the Song. Put in a Simic Growth Chamber. And now we'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber after we've made a bunch of mana. We'll play the Song of Creation. Play Explore. This will draw 3 cards. Bowmaster will ping the Orc. So you might be wondering how I'm not taking any damage. We're able to draw the rest of our deck, and our opponent sees the writing on the wall here. So we won the match. The Thoughtseize Orcish Bowmaster deck that seemed to have crushed us in game 1 lost both post-board games when we just had better hands. So this is Amulet Storm. It's super wild. I think that's the best way to describe it, and it's a lot of fun to play. So hopefully we get some more match wins, and we'll start in match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the play. We're facing someone who's known for playing like Hate Bears in Legacy. I don't know what they're playing here in Modern, but it's interesting. So we have Simic Growth Chamber, we have Saga to go find Amulet. I believe that this is a keep. We just need a way to copy the Amulet, or a second copy of Amulet. We'll play the Saga, pass the turn. Edge Maze, okay. Gets rid of Windswept Heath. Another Saga. I think we'll play it. Pass the turn. They play another copy of Windswept Heath. Basic Forest. Birthing Ritual. Okay. We'll tap for a mana here. And now we'll search. Grab Amulet of Vigor. I'm going to try to look like Amulet Titan here. We'll play Shifting Woodland. It will untap. Make a construct. And pass. My goal is to not look like a Storm deck. I want them to believe that I'm Amulet Titan. They play land number 3. They grab a Breeding Pool. Okay. And they play Endurance. So this allows them to sacrifice the Endurance to the Birthing Ritual and get a 4-drop. They find a Coiling Oracle, which draws into an Icefang Coatl. Okay, this is our window. We will go grab Amulet of Vigor. Play the Simic Growth Chamber. Tap for mana. Tap for mana. And then we'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber, play a Growth Spiral, and a Flare of Denial. Okay, trying to think what I would like to do about that. I think that's just fine. And then we'll Beseiju the Birthing Ritual. Alright, now we'll go to combat and attack for 3. It looks like they have Dismember, sure. I was not expecting main deck Dismember. I suppose I was supposed to attack. That doesn't make any sense because I had the mana floating. Harbinger of the Seas. Yeah, that's pretty good. I won't lie, very good here. I do have one Otawara in the deck. Let's play Explorer. Oh, I can't play Explorer. Whoops. That's what Harbinger of the Seas does. The Icefang Coatl. Ouch. Another Harbinger. Okay. I'm afraid we missed the window. If we had another Growth Spiral effect, we could have kept on trying to go, like if our top card was the Explorer that turn. But unfortunately, it wasn't. And we're just, like, there's no way for us to win this. I just want to see what my draw step is. Okay, so they got us. You know, bummer. We definitely want Into the Floodmaw. And I like the Vexing Bauble because we saw Flare of Denial. And I think we're going to shave 2 Manamorphose again, 1 Song of Creation, and the Joint Exploration. Let's try this. Game number 2 on the play. I don't know about this one. I think you're supposed to mulligan. This is very good. We'll keep. Get rid of a Joint Exploration. Like, this is a very fast hand. Mycosynth Gardens into Amulet of Vigor. And they have Force of Negation. Okay. Don't love that. They play Sink into Stupor as a land. We'll play Island, and I'll just Joint Exploration now, trying to dig. I think we'll keep it Into the Floodmaw, just so we don't lose to Harbinger. Misty Rainforest. Urza Saga. Good draw. Pass the turn. End step, they fetch with the Misty Rainforest. Icefang Coatl. Land number 3. And they attack, I go to 19. Birthing Ritual. And now they look at the top with Birthing Ritual. And they find an Oculus. It's pretty good. End step, let's play Planar Genesis. Vexing Bauble's interesting here, but I don't have any payoff is my concern. Like, I'm worried about a Flare of Denial or another Force of Negation, so I actually really like the Vexing Bauble. I think I just have to hope to draw into like another song or something like that. We draw another Floodmaw song, or I'm sorry, Saga goes to the 2nd chapter. We'll play a Gardens, and I think I'm going to pass the turn here. In their upkeep, we'll bounce the Oculus. So this way, if they would like to counter it, they have to spend mana on their turn, and you can't Force of Negation for free. They play a land. I go to 17, Birthing Ritual. End step, will make a construct. Escape to the Wilds was a very good draw here. The issue is that our opponent held open mana, so I'm going to be disciplined and not play into their tricks. We'll just make another construct, and now we'll search out an amulet. Play Simic Growth Chamber. So the Growth Chamber will untap. Interesting. So their Manifest was a Harbinger of the Seas. We'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. We'll play Vexing Bauble. And I have the Into the Floodmaw, so next turn I can bounce the Harbinger and try to win. But right now I'm wondering if we should just focus on beating them down with constructs. Pass the turn. They play land number 5. Icefang Coatl. And Birthing Ritual. They sacrifice the Icefang Coatl, and they hit another Oculus. That's not good for me. So they have 5 in hand. We know one of them is another Oculus. Explore. I think I'm just going to pass here. I need to hope that our opponent gives me a window where they tap low on mana that I could resolve the Into the Floodmaw. They play land number 6, so I don't think they're going to end up tapping low. They just have too much mana. And now they attack in the air. I'll go to 12. And they play the other Oculus. So I am running out of time here. Birthing Ritual. End step, will play the Into the Floodmaw. I need this to resolve. They have 4 cards in hand. And they do have the counterspell. Alright, so I have 2 Floodmaws left. We need to draw 1. And now they get to Manifest Dread twice. Saga was not the draw step we needed. I will sacrifice the Bauble and hope to hit a Floodmaw. We did not, so we lost to the 4 Harbinger of the Seas deck. Kind of expected, to be honest. They also had counterspells to back it up, so sometimes you lose. We are now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match number 3, we've opened up a turn 3 win. The question is, will we get a third turn? What is our opponent playing? There's a lot of questions here. Turn 1 Flooded Strand. We'll play Urza's Saga. And Amulet of Vigor. It resolves, okay. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping they're just on Boros Energy, because Boros Energy likely can't interact with my hand. They're not on Boros Energy. Likely Temur Frogtide. They end step Thought Scour, definitely looks like Temur Frogtide. They play a Marsh Flats for a Hallowed Fountain, not Temur Frogtide. Okay. Maybe it is just splashing white. Saga goes to the next chapter. We'll play Gardens. So this is an interesting spot because I need the Karoo land and I could copy Amulet, but then I don't have 2 mana next turn to activate the Expedition map that would go grab it. So this might actually just be a turn 4. Unless I draw the Karoo land. They attack with Psychic Frog, no blocks. End step, we will copy the Amulet. Alright, do we draw the Simic Growth Chamber? No. Alright, so we'll float a colorless. Go grab Expedition map. Play the Gardens. And just use the map right away. So now we have Simic Growth Chamber in hand. Pass the turn. End step, they play Cling to Dust. Interesting. They swing with the frog. Ribbit, ribbit. They have pest control. No! No! That was my fear. That was my fear. We missed the turn 3 window, and then they had pest control for my amulets. Wow, we went from being incredibly favored to I don't think we can win. Brutal. And if you're unfamiliar with pest control, it's a 2-mana sorcery for white and a black. Destroys all non-land permanents with the mana value 1 or less, and it also cycles. So they were rewarded heavily for their white splash. Brutal. I don't even know what to do at this point. I think we're going to go to the next one. Bummer. Okay, so we need Veil of Summers. You probably want some number of Flood Moss for Harbingers. I don't know if they're playing Harbingers in a 3-color build, but a lot of Temur Frogtide decks play like 2. Shave a Song, 2 copies of Manamorphose, Join Exploration, and maybe 1 map. It's funny, I think if they were just on like straight Temur, that game would have gone very different. But the White Splash was the difference maker. Game number 2, on the play. I mean, this hand is very good again, so we'll keep it. Although it has the same problem as our hand last game, where we have an access, or we have a path to go grab the Simic Growth Chamber, but it doesn't work well with Mycosynth Gardens. Interesting. I mean, this hand is very good. I'm not sending it back. We'll play the Saga, play Expedition map, pass the turn. So I think I'm supposed to map on turn 2 and then copy on turn 3 this game. Just thinking about like proper sequencing. Amulet as a draw is not bad. They use the Marsh Flats. They find Watery Grave. And they Thought Scour. Hits a Nile Spellbomb and an Oculus. Really hoping they tap out so we can try to win. Flooded Strand. End step. Let's search out the Simic Growth Chamber. There we go. Another Saga. Trigger on the Saga. Amulet of Vigor. We'll copy the Amulet. Play Simic Growth Chamber. So the land trigger goes on the bottom. The end tap trigger's on top. And then we pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. We'll cast Explore. You might be saying, why not play Amulet of Vigor first? Well, if this gets countered, that's not great. Because if this gets countered, I can still play the Planar Genesis. Okay. So, I mean, we have the mana to really go for it here. So, let's play Amulet of Vigor number 3. Amulet of Vigor number 4. And now we'll play Simic Growth Chamber. Now, this is pod racing. I hope that there's a pest control just rotting in their hand while I try to win this. Alright, 8 mana. We'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. Let's play Planar Genesis, 6 mana floating. So I don't really want Urza Saga here. I think we want the Growth Spiral. We'll play Growth Spiral. We'll put the Simic Growth Chamber back in. They thought a long time about that Growth Spiral. So I think they might have a counter spell and they want to save it for something that's a little more juicy. Alright, up to 10 mana, 12 mana now. We'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. Let's try Explore again. We hit a Planar Genesis. I would like to Planar Genesis here. Veil of Summer and Escape to the Wilds. Escape is very good, but I don't have red right now. I think I'm going to take the Veil of Summer. And then I'll play another copy of Planar Genesis. Okay, so do I take Escape or the Explore? I just don't have the red mana. I really want the Escape. So I can play Simic Growth Chamber, make a bunch of mana, because I still have a land drop, and then I could Balagad Recovery for another Planar Genesis. We'll take the Escape to the Wilds. I think I just need to high roll a little bit here. Alright, so now we're up to 14 mana. I will Balagad Recovery, getting back Planar Genesis. Fling to Dust would be brutal here. Alright, Planar Genesis, I'm counting on you. I need red mana. Ding! We'll take the Gruul Turf. Love it. Love it. Okay, so now we get to Escape to the Wilds. Look at all that red mana. And now we'll Escape to the Wilds. And it just resolves. Interesting. And that was a beautiful escape. Wow, that was really nice. So we'll replay the Gruul Turf. Okay, making tons of mana. And our opponent concedes. So we got the turn 3. Nice. Okay. We will resubmit. This hand is very close. This is a bad idea, but I'm going to keep. First turn Scalding Tarn. Song of Creation's the draw. I will play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. They grab an Undercity Sewers. Gets rid of a Thought Scour. If we draw an untapped land, I can go grab Urza Saga. And then eventually, when Saga is done going through the 3 chapters, we'd have 2 amulets. I'd have the Gruul Turf plus triple Veil of Summer backup. But that's a lot of what-ifs. They play Psychic Frog. I really need an untapped land here. Nope. Play the Balagad Recovery as a land. They play Polluted Delta. And now they're attacking with the Frog. They have 5 in hand. They do not discard before damage. So they're not trying to race me. And they just pass. Activate the Expedition Map. Grab Urza's Saga. Play it. Pass the turn. I'm just hoping that I live long enough for that Urza Saga to come off suspend. They fetch with the Polluted Delta. They grab a Meticulous Archive. They surveil Flooded Strand to the graveyard. And then they cling to dust on my Expedition Map. Land number 4, they have 6 cards in their hand. They get a basic swamp. I don't love that. I don't love that one bit. That usually means something bad is going to happen to my lands. They do not discard to the Psychic Frog. I'm hoping because there are 3 colors, there are no Blood Moon effects in their deck. Obviously, it wouldn't be red, it would be blue, and I'm trying to not say the card name because I don't want to jinx it into existence. The opponent is deep in the tank here. Thoughtseize. So this is actually really brutal, because if they take the Jace, they can then cling to dust and I can't win. I suppose one way you could win is if you put a bunch of Urza Sagas in play and then bounce all their stuff. To buy time for the Sagas to win. But they took Song of Creation instead. And now they discard an Oculus. If they have Unearth here, I believe that kills me before the Saga comes off suspend. And they do. This is a Murktide Regent too? Wow. I'm just dead on board next turn. Impressive. We needed one more turn. Or for that to be a Amulet of Vigor. So even if my opponent was foolish enough to let me block the Psychic Frog and doesn't give it flying, they have... What is this? 13. Maybe... I mean, I am dead on board. So I should probably try to do something here. They have 14. They could discard 4 cards to the Frog. Okay, so I think realistically, the only thing I could... There's like no real avenue to winning. So instead, I'm going to pass and just hope that the opponent messes up. It's really all I can do here. So they can discard 4 to the Frog, so that would be 6. Oculus would be 11. Murktide would be exactly 18 if they discarded their entire hand. I'm hoping that they're too coward to discard their entire hand. They get rid of a Pest Control. Oh, I forgot about Murktide getting bigger with the exile. So they don't even have to discard their entire hand. Yeah. Okay, so the only way we would win now is if I cycle Manamorphose into exactly our 1 of Otawara. So I will attempt to cycle the Manamorphose. Oh, I guess I boarded in 2 Floodmaws. I could draw a Floodmaw here. They use Counterspell. I'll play Veil of Summer. Okay, so I should add blue-green because I could cycle another Veil to hit one of our 2 Floodmaws. That would be the out here. They discard Sink and a Stupor. So all I have to do is draw a Floodmaw and we have the match. How difficult could that be? 2 out of 46 cards? And they're going to pump up their Murktide Region again. Alright, into the Floodmaw, pretty please. Blue, green. That was not an Into the Floodmaw. But if I draw into the Floodmaw, the next one we have 2 out of 46. I mean, it's like 100% to happen, right? Veil of Summer. Ugh, we didn't hit it. Alright. Brutal. We were just a turn too slow. Next card. Okay. So if we had tried to force the win in our main phase, we wouldn't have gotten there either. Bummer. I felt like our deck put up a good fight this round, we just didn't get there. We're now 1-2. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. For round number 4, we're on the draw. We've opened up a hand that once again has turn 3 potential. I would need to draw the Karoo land because the way that this hand plays out is that turn 1 you would play Amulet of Vigor, and it looks like they're on a Leyline Binding deck, which isn't great for me. But you would play the Amulet of Vigor. Turn 2, you would copy it with the Mycosynth Gardens. And then turn 3, you would need that, Simic Growth Chamber to really start going. We don't have the land yet. We do have an Expedition map, but it's 3 total mana to search it out. They play an Arid Mesa, and they're just passing the turn. So I could play the Amulet of Vigor into like a Stubborn Denial or something. I think I will just play Otawara and pass the turn. They play a Mountain and a Scion of Draco. 3 cards remain in their hand. Another Amulet of Vigor. So we'll play Amulet of Vigor, play Mycosynth Gardens, play Amulet of Vigor. Pass the turn. I would like to draw a Simic Growth Chamber, please. And now they attack with the Scion of Draco. There's the Leyline Binding. Okay. We drew Explore. We'll play Expedition map. See if this resolves. And it does. So now we'll play the Beseiju and pass. So next turn, well, on their end step, I can copy Amulet. Next turn, we would use the map and then go grab the Simic Growth Chamber and then try to win. They attack again. We'll go down to 12. 4 cards remaining in their hand. Another Scion of Draco. So I think they're just holding open Stubborn Denial. We'll copy the Amulet. The question is, can I beat Stubborn Denial? I do not know. Gruul Turf. That was a good draw. Okay. So let's play the Gruul Turf. Triggers. And now we'll make some mana. 4 mana in our mana pool. We'll play Explore. Escape to the Wilds. Good draw. Okay. So we're going to go up to 6 mana here. So we have 8 mana total, which is 1 short of Escape plus Song. So I need blue mana for Song, and I need more blue mana in general. So I can Expedition map for Simic Growth Chamber. My fear with this play is that it's a break even with the Growth Spiral, and I need to go up 1. So we'll play Growth Spiral. Ooh, we hit an Explore. I think that does it. So I think we're going to be able to beat a Stubborn Denial. Alright, so we're back up to 8 mana, and I will play Explore again. Simic Growth Chamber. Okay, we'll pick up the Growth Chamber, play Song of Creation. I'm not expecting this one to resolve. Ooh, it does. Okay, so if they have another Leyline Binding, it punishes me. So I think you're actually supposed to just slam the Escape to the Wilds and get the trigger here before a Leyline Binding can exile the Song. But I guess if they play Leyline Binding, then Escape to the Wilds resolves. Alright, so we'll play Gruul Turf. Let's just get our mana. And now we'll pick up a land. I could pick up the Beseiju at some point and destroy the Leyline Binding. That's also possible. Alright, we'll play Escape to the Wilds. Trigger the song. Okay, that was a very good draw too. And it just resolves. Interesting. So do you have nothing over there? We'll play Simic Growth Chamber. Move these out of the way. And now we'll pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. I'll tap the Beseiju. Play Explore. And now we draw off Song. We'll play Gruul Turf. Part of me wonders if I even want to mess with killing the Leyline Binding, because like, what if I give them another land and that gives them the fuel to stop me? I mean, I could pick up the Otawara. That doesn't give them mana. But then they could just replay it. Yeah, it's probably not worth it. We'll play another Explore. Alright, so we'll play Simic Growth Chamber. This time we'll pick up the Gruul Turf. Let's play Escape to the Wilds. Alright, we'll play Growth Spiral. Put in the Gruul Turf. The opponent's pausing a lot. Like, I don't know what they have going on over there, but they're not F6ing. They pause on a bunch of these triggers. So, like, they have something. I just don't know what something is. Alright, so now we'll pick up the Gruul Turf. Play Amulet of Vigor. We'll play another Growth Spiral. Put in Simic Growth Chamber. And now all these triggers make more mana. Whoops. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. My bad. I guess it doesn't matter, but I should do it the right way. You should always click on the Growth Chamber first. Whoops, and then I clicked on the wrong land, so I denied myself a mana here. Just me not paying attention. But it's fine. The 2 mana doesn't really matter all that much. 17 cards left in my deck. We will kick a Joint Exploration. Keep both of these. Put in Simic Growth Chamber, and this time I promise I'll stack it right. Okay, so now we'll make 6 mana. We did it correctly. Woo! Alright, 14 cards left in deck. Still have another land drop, apparently, so I guess I'll make more mana here. I guess the opponent's not conceding because they think that I might not be able to Grape Shot them for 28. Is that why they're not conceding? Alright, 20 mana floating. What could somebody do with 20 mana? Alright, I think I'm done playing lands because it just doesn't help. So I'm going to try to draw the rest of my deck as efficiently as possible. So Expedition Map. Our opponent's just like refusing to yield to any of these triggers, which is fine. It's just like it's eating up a bunch of clock for both people. And now we'll play another map. Down to 10 cards in deck. Play a Vexing Bauble. 8 cards left. Alright, let's play our Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Oh, I forgot to play the Mistrise Village first. It didn't end up mattering, but I was supposed to play the Mistrise Village. That's my bad. That way a Stubborn Denial couldn't counterspell it. Whoops. We'll play Map. 4 cards left in deck. Amulet of Vigor. And then we'll plus the Jace on myself. And if they try to kill the Jace in response, you can just respond by drawing a card and then winning that way. Okay, well, I'm glad we went through that together. We win game number 1 against Domain Zoo. We have not had an easy league. Like, I don't think we've had a matchup where I'm like, oh, that's an easy matchup. Like, this deck should be favored against Energy, but we haven't faced it. Okay, so a lot of these decks have things like High Noon or Deafening Silence in the sideboard, but they also have counter spells. So I think I like Into the Floodmaw, at least some number. Vexing Bauble's not particularly good here. I like the Haywire Might. And then I think we probably want some number of Veil of Summers. Or instead of Veil of Summer, I could do Pact of Negation, because Pact of Negation beats Leyline Binding. Question is, what do you sideboard out? So at least 2 Manamorphose, 1 Song of Creation, 2 Joint Exploration, and that still puts you 2 short. You could try siding out like 1 map. You need maps for consistency, but you could try getting rid of 1. Or you could just try getting rid of Joint Exploration altogether, which might be the move. Yeah, we could try this. Yeah, I mean, you have map for Saga, and then Mycosynth Gardens can copy it eventually. I don't know. I don't think that this is the craziest keep. They did not open up on Leyline of the Guild Pact. Another Floodmaw. We'll play Expedition Map. It looks like it's going to be counterspelled here. Consign or Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial, okay. Wooded Foothills. They find Temple Garden. And Territorial Kabu, fast start. We rip an Amulet. Play Gardens. Play the Amulet. And I think I'll pass. They have land number 3. And they fetch. Okay, so it looks like this is a turn where they're going to play Leyline Binding, or they just fetch to pump up the Territorial Karoo. They have 4 cards, so now they can swing. They can discard a card and draw a card. They discard a Flage. So I'll take 5 down to 15. Wild Cattle. So they don't have a Leyline Binding. That's interesting. Let's try to eat a counterspell and bounce the Territorial Karoo. No, they don't bite. Okay. Thundering Falls. I like that because it gives me an extra look at finding the Simic Growth Chamber we need, or Explorer Effect. We need both of those things. So we surveil 1. Get rid of Mycosynth Gardens. And I'll just copy the Amulet of Vigor now. Pass the turn. They play land number 4. The Wild Nacatl attack puts me down to 12. Wrath of the Skies. I was not expecting that. I don't think I've seen Wrath of the Skies out of the sideboard of this deck previously. That's devastating. And I can't Flood Maw my own permanents. The card says opponent. So I think I'm going to concede. Brutal. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Wrath of the Skies out of this deck previously. Let's try it again. On the play for game 3. Good hand. Keep. Alright, no Leyline of the Guild Pact. We'll play our first turn Urza Saga and Expedition Map. Pass. The tapped Arena of Glory is a boiler work. So what I need is a payoff spell. We'll play Urza Saga and pass. So we can grab the Mycosynth Gardens to copy Amulet of Vigor, but I need Song of Creation or something to do with all of this mana. They play Territorial Karoo. Okay, so I really need something here. Expedition Map, grab Mycosynth Gardens, draw for turn. It's a Manamorphose. Float a mana. Go grab an Amulet. Play Gardens, and I think I'm supposed to just pass. Because if I copy in my main phase, Wrath of the Skies blows me out. And I don't want that to happen, but passing means that they could have Leyline Binding. And if that's the case, I can always bounce with the Into the Flood Maw. They discard a Flage again. Interesting. No other play. We'll copy Amulet of Vigor. Am I allowed? We're thinking about it. Is this like a Wear Tear or a Beseiju? It is in fact a Wear Tear. Okay. So we'll draw. It's a map. Map doesn't really help me here. We'll grab Amulet of Vigor. Copy the Amulet. Play Simic Growth Chamber. Alright, so we get 4 mana. Pick up the Growth Chamber. I'll play Manamorphose. My best draw off this Manamorphose would be Song of Creation. We'll do red and blue. Oh wow, we hit the song. Let's go. Let's go. I can't believe I actually hit Song of Creation. Oh my. We're in the party zone. There's only 3 songs in the deck because I boarded one out. Okay, let's bounce the Karoo. Trigger song. I'll play Expedition Map. We're hoping to hit like an Explore effect here. I did not hit one. Uh-oh. Planar Genesis. Need to hit a Karoo land. Devastating. We just fizzled. I'm sure some of you are like, well, what if you pacted one of your own spells? That's a decision you can make, but then if you fizzle, you flat out lose the game. So I don't love that. We'll put Gardens in. So it untaps twice, so I could filter to make a mana of any color, but 1 mana doesn't do me any good here. I just have to pass the turn, I fizzle. That hurts. Our opponent has a lot of time to recover now. I think I might be trapped underneath my own Song of Creation. So I guess if I were to draw a land that isn't a Karoo land, I could end step, use map to go get a Karoo, and then I'd have to draw a spell. Maybe I was supposed to pact my own spell and just accept losing at some point. They fetch with Flooded Strand. If this is Wrath of the Skies, like, we're done. Okay, well, I guess it's not Wrath of the Skies. They now have 4 card types, so Leyline Binding is online. They play a Karoo. And there's the land. So that was a good draw. Pass the turn. So the question is, do I want to use the map? It saves me mana if I were to draw a spell. But if I use the map, I have 8 mana between the Song of Creation plus my land drop, which is a lot. So that tells me maybe I don't want to use the map. They grab a Triome, and now they're attacking. Gets rid of Scion of Draco. Interesting. Okay. And Leyline Binding. Okay. So now I'm free to go grab a Karoo land. Grab Simic Growth Chamber. So we have an interesting thing we could do this turn. I could copy Amulet of Vigor, bounce the Otawara. So I'd play Simic Growth Chamber, make 6 mana, bounce Otawara, and then I would get my song back. But then what are we doing? I don't know. We drew another song. I mean, I don't think I'm supposed to play the song. They have 5 in hand, so they'd attack. I go to 8, so I'd be dead to like Lightning Bolt plus Tribal Flames. I think I'm supposed to pass here. Now they attack with the Territorial Kavu. Discards the plains. I don't know if I was supposed to pack my own spell or not. Like, that's what I'm thinking about this entire game now. I just felt like we have so many Explorer effects in our deck, I was going to draw one, and then it just never happened. Okay. So they left open a white, which means they could recast the Leyline Binding at some point if I try to bounce it. Escape to the Wilds. We'll play Simic Growth Chamber. So I purposely did not copy with the Mycosynth Garden, so that way I had red mana available. And we need that red mana in this spot. And now I'll pick up the Growth Chamber. If our opponent has a Stubborn Denial, I'm dead. But there's nothing I can do about that. Consigned to Memory. Okay. Well, that means that this Escape to the Wilds is going to resolve. Here we go. This is our shot, our one opportunity. Leyline Binding. You are not a nice person. Okay. I don't know if it's possible anymore. Maybe. We hit Gruul Turf. The Beseiju doesn't work because you can't channel from exile. I needed to hit it with my last copy of Into the Floodmaw. So I guess we can play the Gruul Turf. I think we're dead. Tap for mana. Pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. Play Explore. I'm pretty sure there's no winning here. Tap. Pick up the Simic Growth Chamber again. Explore. Here's all of our Explore effects. Pick it up. Simic Growth Chamber. I'm sorry, Growth Spiral. Simic Growth Chamber. And we drew a map. Yeah, that's just not good enough. Ah, brutal. I don't know if I was supposed to Pact Negation or not. This deck is tough. I will say that. And I feel like we've had really difficult matchups. So, like, I am 1-3 right now, but, like, the deck seems good to me, despite that. With, like, slightly better variants here or there, I think that we would have a better record. So one thing I've noticed this league is since adding in Expedition maps, my mana has been a lot better, which makes me think that maybe we no longer need Manamorphose to filter. And if that's the case, instead of Manamorphose, we could go back to playing Preordain, or if there's a better consistency card or another Explorer, we could play those instead of Manamorphose. So that's something I'm interested in, but let's just play match number 5. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. The final round, we're on the draw. I have a hand with turn 3 potential. The question is, what are we facing? Because so far, I feel like we've just had a lot of interaction every round. Alright, Spire Bluff Canal, Mishra's Bauble. This looks like the Izzet Prowess deck. They play another Mishra's Bauble. We apparently showed them Shifting Woodland. We'll play Urza's Saga. Let's play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. They're going to use Bauble again. They play Misty Rainforest, another Mishra's Bauble. Not the strongest opening if they are, in fact, Izzet Prowess. They grab a Thundering Falls. Gets rid of Unholy Heat. Saga goes to the second chapter. We'll play Gardens, pass the turn. End step, they Lightning Bolt me. Sure, I'm at 17. Land number 3. End step, we'll use the Expedition map. And we'll go grab a Simic Growth Chamber. Draw for turn. It's a Joint Exploration. We'll float mana, and now we can go get an Amulet. And now we'll copy the Amulet. And now we'll play Simic Growth Chamber. We'll play another Amulet of Vigor. What's the difference between 2 and 3? Am I right? And now we'll kick a joint exploration. They hardcast a Force of Negation, sure. We'll pass the turn. Expressive Iteration. They play Scalding Turn off of the Expressive Iteration. Still 2 mana available here. So they could have a counter spell. We'll play Simic Growth Chamber. Triggers happen. We have 6 total mana here. And now the Simic Growth Chamber returns. And we'll try another Joint Exploration. Force of Negation. Okay. Pass the turn. So I was planning on casting Balagad Recovery to get back Joint Exploration there, but the fact that both of our opponent's counterspells were Force of Negation, I was unable to do so. They now play a Dragon's Rage Channeler, 3 cards left in their hand. We draw Explore. So we'll make some mana here. And now we'll play the Explore. 4 floating mana. Vexing Bauble. Alright, we'll play Simic Growth Chamber. Alright, 10 total mana. We'll play Vexing Bauble. And now we'll Balagad Recovery to pick up the Explore. And now we'll play the Explore with 4 mana floating. Song of Creation, but I cannot make red right now. We'll draw a card using the Vexing Bauble. Planar Genesis, we'll play that. So I could take Escape to the Wilds or another Planar Genesis. I think it's the Gardens. Yeah, because Gardens can filter for a red. So it would allow me to play Song, but I'd have to pass the turn. So now we'll filter for a red. Play Simic Growth Chamber. My thing is, like, do I really even want to play Song Pass? Like, I don't know if that seems good to me. Because I'd have to discard... Like, I wouldn't be able to make mana next turn. So it's probably a bad idea. Yeah, I don't think I want to do this. I'm just going to bounce their creature. Pass the turn. They have land number 5. Murktide Regent, that's an 8/8. Okay. And they did not replay the Channeler. So that's a sign that they probably have 3 mana interaction. We'll play the Simic Growth Chamber again. Alright, so we have 6 total mana. I would like to Planar Genesis. We'll take Explore. Play the Explore. Joint Exploration, okay. So we have 8 mana here. Pick up the Simic Growth Chamber. And now I think we want to kick a Joint Exploration. Both of these can go on the bottom. We need spells. Put the Simic Growth Chamber into play. Alright, so now we're up to 11 mana. We'll play Song of Creation. I doubt this resolves. They play Sink in a Stupor. Okay, so I can Manamorphose. Red and red. Song of Creation. We'll play Simic Growth Chamber. Glad I made 2 red mana there. I don't know why I did. It's just like, well, I can make other colors. And then it ended up being relevant. Alright, make a bunch of mana, pick up the Growth Chamber, play another Song of Creation. We need spells. Alright, I think we've got this one. We'll play our land, pick up the Simic Growth Chamber, play Explore. 31 cards left. Let's just play... Maybe it's silly to play the Jace right now because I guess I still have a land drop. We'll show them the Jace. Maybe they'll just concede to Jace. Growth Spiral. 21 cards remaining. We'll play a map. This will draw 4. Play a map. This draws 4. Another map to draw 4. 9 cards left in the deck. Amulet of Vigor. I'm just trying to be as efficient as possible at this point. Play another Amulet of Vigor. And then Jace target me. Okay. Let's get one more win. I would like that. Get half my entry fee back. We want Veil of Summer. Probably some number of Flood Moths for Harbinger. And I think I want to try boarding out all 4 copies of Manamorphose. I'm not convinced the deck needs it anymore. Because you're so good at finding your Karoos that you could pick the colors that you want. And then maybe we'll shave 1 Song of Creation and a Joint Exploration. Let's try this. Alright, so we've opened up a hand with Simic Growth Chamber and Izzet Boiler Works. Unfortunately, that means that you can't keep this. But also, there's no Amulet or Path to Amulet. This is much better. We'll keep this. Get rid of a Joint Exploration. First turn, Spiral Bluff Canal. We'll play Saga. Pass the turn. Scalding Tarn. Sure. So they're not on Izzet Prowess. This just looks like Izzet Murktide, which hasn't been a popular deck in a very long time, but our opponent seems to be a big fan. Saga goes to the next chapter. Another Saga is the draw. And they're going to consign this trigger. We'll play another Saga. Pass the turn. They surveilled away a Force of Negation, which is interesting. I'll take one. Alright, triggers happen. So now we search. Unless you have another consign. We'll grab Amulet of Vigor. We'll play Baleaged Recovery as my land for the turn. This way I can Veil of Summer to protect my amulet. Actually, let's just make a construct. I doubt they have anything blue to interact. They play another Dragon's Rage Channeler. And they're going to pass the turn holding open Spirebluff Canal. We draw another Baleaged Recovery. We'll float a colorless. Now we can go grab another amulet. Or they have another consign. So this is a Stifle ability. This is not a counterspell ability. So I could Veil of Summer here, but it actually would not protect my triggered ability here. So I lose my land. I don't get the extra Saga, or the extra amulet. I'm going to play Mysteries Village, and let's Planar Genesis. We find the Simic Growth Chamber, which is perfect. So I'll tap for mana, and then I'll pick it up. Let's play Explore. Replay the Simic Growth Chamber. Float mana, pick it up. Growth Spiral. Simic Growth Chamber. Float mana. Pick it up. And then let's kick a Joint Exploration. Keep both of these. Play the Gardens. Pass the turn. They have land number 3. No, it's always Harbinger. Right when I was about to win. Brutal. We'll play Joint Exploration. Ooh. Okay. Get rid of the map, keep the Otawara. We'll play the Baleaged Recovery as a land. Pass the turn. So I can end step bounce the Harbinger, untap, and try to win. This looks like a Murktide Regent. Okay. We have to pass the turn. So I can take 6 here going down to 13. End step, we will Otawara the Harbinger of the Seas. And now we have a chance to win this. Step 1, let's copy the Amulet of Vigor. Simic Growth Chamber. Do I need red mana for Song of Creation? You might have been saying, why not play map and then you have red mana? The mana doesn't work out. Like, I actually don't have enough mana to start the turn on an Expedition map. So we'll play Planar Genesis here, hoping to hit a red Karoo land. So that would be a Gruul Turf or Izzet Boilerworks. Instead, I hit no lands. That's not good. So we'll say no. We'll take a Growth Spiral. And we'll play the Growth Spiral. They play Counterspell. In response, I'll Veil of Summer. So my Veil of Summer has resolved. And now Counterspell can fizzle and then Growth Spiral. We hit another Simic Growth Chamber. So something I could do here is pick up a Baleaged Recovery. And then Baleaged Recovery again. Baleaged Recovery. And then pick up like an Explore, which gives me another draw. I'm down a mana on the exchange, but it gives me a chance to actually win this. So let's pick up Explore, play the Explore, Bloodmaw. Okay, so I can bounce Harbinger next turn. That gives me another chance to win. We'll play Saga and play the map. Okay, pass. End step, our opponent plays a Lightning Bolt, targeting me. So this puts me to 10. So I am one creature or one card type away from dead. So if they find sorcery, I'm actually just dead here. Okay, Mishra's Bauble, they get 2 more Surveils. Sink in a Stupor and Harbinger, so that does it. Okay, I can't block. So you might be saying, why not just leave open into the Floodmaw? There wasn't a real way to do that. I guess I could have played Growth Chamber, picking up Growth Chamber, but I wasn't expecting to die there. Maybe I should have been, I don't know. Like in my head, I was just going to bounce the Harbinger and try to win on my turn, but maybe that's wrong. I will resubmit. I think our list is fine. On the play. Nope. All Karoo lands. Why are you doing this to me, deck? Why? Mulligan. Now we're going to 4? Sure, 4 cards. Baleaged Recovery to the bottom. Beseiju, Mysteries Village. Thundering Falls. Get rid of Planar Genesis. Pass. So I think you could look at that last game as a they open up on Ragavan on my Moldo 4. Um it's like a reason to keep Manamorphose in the deck because we couldn't play the song without Manamorphose. I'm not sure. Misty Rainforest. They exiled Escape to the Wilds. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Dragon's Rage Channeler. And Preordain. I think it's safe to say I'm not winning this one. Okay, I'm just gonna call it. That was miserable. So I feel like the deck list is close. And I'm not like I realize 1-4 looks bad, but I think the deck is actually better than it performed today. So I wonder if you could shave down to like 2 Manamorphose. I think that's a start. And then maybe you play a second copy of Otawara over another land. I'm not sure what that land is. So if you have strong opinions, let me know. But Otawara bouncing Harbinger of the Seas seems good. I just don't know what you cut. So like the one Thundering Falls is your basic land type for like a Beseiju that isn't your basic island. Maybe you don't need 2. Maybe one of these could be the Otawara. I'm not sure. I liked the idea of having Mysterized Village to protect your Jace Wielder of Mysteries or Shifting Woodland. I just don't know where you go from here. I think the deck is much better than it was previously, despite the record today. That's all I've really got for now. Really, community feedback helps. So if you know a way to make the deck better, help me and Ari out. Ari, thank you for the donation deck. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry my record wasn't better, but I do believe the deck list is better than it was a year ago. All right, that's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, and if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier, it's totally worth it, I promise, and see ya, thanks for watching.